Hi everyone, something a little bit different here. This video accompanies my November Gun World article. First chance I've had in quite a lot of years to do some serious ratting pest control. I was invited down to an undisclosed location in Scotland by Stuart of Vermin Control Scotland. You've really got to check his channel out. And he'd also invited Robin Foxer up from Lincolnshire. I'm sure many of you are familiar with his channel. Look at the footage he sent by way of invitation. I think he has a rat problem. What do you reckon? Stuart thought I could maybe try indoors first. And yeah, it just turned out not to be the great environment for me. Being on crutches with a lot of rubbish underfoot and so on, as you'll see. I think you can tell I'm in a rubbish dump. I've got one of my Phoenix head torches, and yeah, Robin Foxer is set up outside. He's already shooting rats, and Stu from Vermin Control Scotland, who's been a wonderful guy, very helpful, he's going back and forth, and as I'm speaking to you I can see rats just less than 10 meters away. In fact, one ran past my foot a minute ago. So I'm going to get set up here. We're going to film some intros in a bit, in about an hour outside before the light goes, but Stu tells me when it gets dark in here it gets really dark. So got the head torch for when I need it, and I've got a lot of stuff to get around. You can imagine underfoot with being on crutches. So yeah, I think we're gonna have a good night. As you can probably tell, this is very short range, and yeah, I didn't really get any shots off inside, and then Stu came to check on me. I'll keep this bit brief because you'll see some footage here where I was scanning around with the HIKMICRO Gryphon GH35L thermal spotter with LRF. I used the LRF and I spotted several rats that very briefly appeared and disappeared, and they were from sort of 8-10 meters away out to sort of 13 meters away. Not great ranges when you're using a bullpup with a large distance between the scope and the bore, because at short ranges the holdover changes a lot, and these rats really didn't hang around for long. Plus underfoot, it was a nightmare, as you can see. Not the great place for me on crutches. So I cut my losses, and Stu and I agreed I'd be better outside, so out I headed. This is me now relocated outside, just outside that same shed, on my bucket seat with rifle on trigger sticks. A rat hole right there, and I just missed the chance to shoot a rat here. Range 7 meters. The top of that embankment with the trees behind is 30 meters. So my 30 meter zero is spot on from there down to where that pile meets the ground. Scanning around in thermal, this is obviously still daylight, so there's quite a few false positives around, but I did glimpse a few rats, but they were very skittish in daylight. And I did spot a few though, and shoot a couple. So each time it was spot them in the thermal, then with the thermal on a lanyard around my neck, I'd let go of it, reach for the rifle, shoulder it, and aim for the rats. That's one top right. They really don't hang around for long in daylight. I shot this one twice just to be sure. Hi there, Russ Douglas 222. Stu, who very kindly invited us, has run to get his rifle, and this is my little intro for my video, and I'm using the freshly repaired by Sportsman Gun Centre, thank you guys. I'm using the FX Maverick Compact 177 FAC. Got the excellent Eagle Vision Cam moderator on, it's whisper quiet. I've got the new PARD AAS LRF, and tonight I'm just going to be using the PARD's onboard IR torch. So we've got the ballistic calculator. It's set to 0 to about 13 foot-pounds, 30 meters. So yep, good to go.
Stuart, thank you so much for inviting. I wouldn't say inviting us down, but actually it's up. And it's quite up for you. It's quite a long way up. Yeah.
I've only come south an hour and a half, but you've come north
almost 7 hours. Yeah, that's a fair trek. Yeah, yeah. So yesterday morning I was in Devon, and today I'm north of Edinburgh. So that's a fair chunk, a fair drive.
Yeah. And I don't know if you can hear in the background, but there are rats literally virtually over my shoulder. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point it'll be on my shoulder. So
yeah. In fact, while we've been talking, we've just been admiring rats running all around.
It's poaching with rats here, but at the same time, I've only shot 3 so far as the light's been fading, because starting full daylight, they really are quite skittish. Where I've been over there, Stu took me indoors and said, "Oh, you might want to start here." And apart from being an absolute nightmare indoors on crutches, because it's not so much cluttered as there is no floor space, but also they show for a few seconds and they're gone, and different ranges and so on. So yeah, it's going to be good, hopefully, partly with the HIKMICRO Gryphon GH35L on hand to spot them, and partly with the night vision of the periodically LRF. And they're not going to hear us coming. The first thing they're going to hear is the pellet hitting their brains. So that's the plan. So yeah, and it's literally every...
You've got one that's about to run over your foot. I'm sure I could hear it.
Yeah.
Literally right behind you.
Oh, and there's a dead one.
Oh yeah.
By my foot.
That's one I shot earlier. Here's one we prepared earlier.
Ta-da! So I was just thinking, no, well, that one's not moving very far. It's dead. So nice to meet you, Robin.
Yes.
And
yeah.
This place is something else. So
we're really looking forward to this. Really looking forward to it. I'm also spotting with the HIKMICRO GQ35L, and then I'll be trying out HIKMICRO's new Alpex day-night scope. So certainly a very good first outing test for that.
Yeah. And it still looks like daylight through the scope as the light's fading. So top class stuff. And here's Stu.
Cool.
With his Stoga XM1.
It is.
So is this by Beretta?
It is. This is the one that it's seen sunnier climates out in Miami.
Yeah.
And I genuinely can't fault it. It's you just can more than welcome have a go yourself. It's fantastic.
It's a stubby little thing, isn't
it? It is.
Nicely stubby.
I'm sure I've heard that before.
I love bull. Girth is a wonderful. But yeah, I mean, I love bullpups for that reason. It's so compact.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got the Eagle Vision moderator as well?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, so this calibrated is 2.2, is it?
Yes, it is.
And that's non-FAC?
That's correct.
Excellent.
It's running about 11.4 at the moment. I had out this morning on rabbits, just a quick go at it, and as I say, tonight we'll get a good...
How many shots in the mag?
8. So you've got you get 2 mags with it, and as I say, it's never missed a beat. You know, your first kind of my personal feelings when I first got it, I didn't know what to expect. You know, when you're hit with a brand new rifle, and I've shot hundreds, if not thousands of rats with it, and it's deadly accurate.
Yeah. Let's feel the weight of it.
Yeah, of course.
Cheers. That's fine, isn't it?
Pretty well balanced, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the actual one you had in Miami? Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Stu's iguana hunt Florida video yet, get it watched.
Yeah.
After dark, things are different. The rats get a lot more confident that they're not vulnerable to birds, and they come out in serious numbers. Plus, as the background cools, the thermal heat of their bodies stands out far better against the background, so it's great with the thermal spotters. Here's a little night hunting 101. Basically, thermal spotters have quite a relatively low base mag of say 1 times or 2 times. Night vision has a higher base mag. My periodically LRF is 6.5 times base mag or 13 times zoom. So you've got to find something in the background when you're looking through the thermal spotter close to the rat that you can then find when you look through your night vision gear. At higher mag, for example, it might be a strut, a piece of washing machine, a spare tyre. You've got to find something through the thermal spotter that you can then find through your night vision scope to get you as quick as possible back onto the rat you just spotted. Quite simple to, while holding the rifle in my right hand and rested on the sticks, to reach forward my left hand, press the button, range the rat, and as you see, the ballistic calculator then gives me the X aim point, allowing for the ballistic trajectory.
I thought it was a rat looking at me, but it's Oh no, it is. Hang on, it is a rat looking at me. Between the eyes. And because it's a dry night, I've got the memory card cap off the size of the pod, yes, so it's recording audio. But the Gryphon, oh, excuse me, rat.
Underneath all these steps, other side. As the night goes on.
Oh,
What can you see?
I can see rats. Lots of eye shine. And the rat's sitting looking at me, but its head is... Got it there? Its head was obscured by a twig. I'm glad I bought the air bottle and a full tin of pellets, because I think I'm going to need it here.
There's one right in the middle of the wood pile.
Wood pile?
Dead centre.
Oh, I can see. I can see an eye. I can see one eye. I can't see its whole head. Got it?
Yep.
Mate, there's fucking about 12 right over your head. Come here, Steve.
Yep.
Look.
Yep. All that film.
And sometimes there's rats you only see on playback that you missed there and then while looking through the scope. Bottom right hand corner of the screen, here's an example.
That would be it.
Here, scanning around through the thermal, I spot something that got more and more common as the evening went on, a dead rat, and then I see a lesser known robin, and got to watch him targeting a rat that was just out of sight around the edge of one of the skips. He scans ahead with his higher res Gryphon GQ35L, and then moves in for the kill, aiming through the HIKMICRO Alpex scope. I spotted another rat at the near end of the wood pile, but by the time I had the rifle shouldered, it had moved, so Stuart with his Steiner thermal spotter guided me on it a bit further on the left.
There's one walking up the bottom.
Yep. Oh.
See him? Yep, that was him.
Oh, empty mag.
It had been on constantly for a couple of hours now, and I noticed that a couple of times the laser rangefinder on the PARD 88S LRF wouldn't fire, so the ballistic calculator wasn't working. So I tested it here on the square on end of the container to be sure it just wasn't just a lack of reflection off an object I was targeting. and then I targeted a few rats by estimating the holdover, but missed this one. Couldn't target this rat's head, so it's one of the few heart and lung body shots I went for that night. Quite close range this one, and I think I might have missed it. Missed this one slipping down between the slits in the blocks when the pellet strikes this diagonal strut that's in the way. Here's some footage Robin filming me through the higher res HIKMICRO GQ35L, which is basically 640 by 512 resolution, still 12 micron, but that bit higher resolution sensor gives you that bit sharper image. So he's watching me shooting these rats between the concrete blocks, and then he moves to one side and gets some great footage of me cocking the rifle. A couple of minutes later, and another rat in the exact same spot. The ballistic calculator still wasn't working, so I guesstimated the holdover. Thought I'd missed because I thought this was brick dust. But as it happens, Robin was still filming me through the Gryphon and filming these rats, and he caught the blood spray. So it's a kill after all. Stu and Robin watching on the thermal from behind me loved that one. Then I have a quick scan around, and again between the concrete blocks and the container. A slight pause while I reacquire this rat.
Oh, hold on a minute. Oh! Yeah, it fell down.
Slightly different spot. Another one spotted through the thermal. Sitting down, I'm just static, so I can't easily shuffle left or right, so I couldn't quite get a bead on this one on the peak of the tip, and I missed the one just below the crosshairs, but then another appeared just to the left.
If I could slide 3 inches to the left somehow, I'd be able to hit this rat in its head rather than its bloody arse. I'm tempted to go for it anyway. Yeah. That was a heart shot from the side, and it's not moved, so that's a good shot. It's that satisfying thwack, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of a no, it's a cross between a thud and a thwack. Oh, there's one on the right side of that blue skip. Time it takes me to pivot, the trigger sticks around, it's gone. Bastards. Oh, got it. Excellent.
Very back concrete board, that's exactly 30 yards.
Yards? Why are you in yards? Ye olde Robin.
26 yards to the rats. No, I've used about 20 weeks you were going.
That's almost mesmerising, there's so many. For a moment there were so many.
Then it naturally goes quiet for a minute or two, so I have a scan around.
I assume you have business cards, Robin? Well, I think we're going to have to give all the staff at the hotel a business cards, because it... Yeah, this woman who came up to me, who I'd not seen yet today, and said, "So which rats are you shooting then? Where are they?" And I was like, "Ah, right, so they're all talking about it then." Yep. Oh, another magazine gone. Oh, my ballistic calculator's working again. Oh, 2 for 2. Dump, dump, dump. Another one bites the dust. Sorry, I can't sing. Who needs food when there's this many rats to shoot?
Here I'm looking at a different spot, so I just pinged it with the laser rangefinder to reacquire the ballistic calculator for this range, 15 meters.
Oh, yes. The little flurry there. Oh, I am indeed. I'm gonna need to refill both mags again in a minute. When refilling both mags means you've got through another 36 shots. That's pretty good. There's another one a second ago where I thought, oh, it missed, because the second I squeezed the trigger, I heard the ting of metal, but the rat did this perfect forward roll head first off what it was standing on. So you realise the pellet's gone right through it. But it's very considerate of the rats when they don't really get bothered by just putting a head touch on to reload. Oh, you bugger.
This is another one where I missed my chance simply because I'm hoping the rat will pause and I'll be able to go for a more certain humane headshot, but doesn't always go that way.
That was cool. I saw 4 through my viewfinder at the same time, and I got 3 out of the 4 of them.
Scanning across the tip here, you can see there are a lot of rats still here at 11:30. Excuse the shakiness, it's just a handheld thermal spotter after all. So I'll go through the modes, white hot then black hot. And white hot or black hot, it's just whatever's your preference really. And then into fusion, which is basically rainbow. Just giving you a sample of what it's like here. A few rat bodies there, and a few live ones. Into red hot, which to me, pardon the joke, but it's a load of rubbish, because as you can see, there are false positives from using red hot mode. Some of the rubbish glows red, and then we're into optical mode, which is a poor man's night vision, and then into image fusion, which is sort of optical with thermal white hot overlaid.
Look at that. Safety off.
You can see here the PARD's onboard IR illuminator has been perfectly fine for hours and hours on level 1, although this was just after I changed the battery. But there are false positives, because when you're looking for ratty eye shine, any plastic bottles on a waste tip reflect back just like an eye.
Oh, perfect shot. Where did that one go? Oh, there it is. "15 meters between the eyes, bosh." Oh, hang on, I think I've just jammed.
Back to the thermal for a second. Then, as always, try and reacquire the same spot through the different magnification scope.
Right, if I had to look up to those two circles, where have they gone? There. Oh yes, that's a fat rat who rolled over.
The bottom of that kind of square box thing, literally right on the ground, underneath it. See it?
Oh yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh my goodness, I got it. Oh no, that didn't scan. I'm going to have to guess the holdover for that.
Yeah. Oh, there's one to the right of this container.
Yeah, yeah. On the carpet. When is gonna
Got it.
in that in the blood? Oh, in that pipe, sorry, in that pipe at the top. See it?
I think
He's dead.
that wasn't a perfect shot because I rushed it, but
It's in the pipe again. There's another one.
oh, stayed there.
Container.
That's about the fourth one I've shot in that pipe. Whereabouts?
Far right corner, right at the very bottom. There's stuff up the top.
Oh, I see a tail flicking.
Just halfway along.
Oh, that's a totty little thing, that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, what you have to?
See, well, the bottom of the container. There.
And there's another one poking out
Yeah.
a metre closer.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a little one, and it just, I saw its eye and then it moved.
Yeah.
I'll leave that one for now.
The LRF and ballistic calculator combo is working again here, and I love using this for spot-on headshots.
Yes.
Here's Stuart spotting for me with his thermal. Here's two more chances I missed because of lingering to try and wait for a headshot.
I've lost the pipe. Oh, it's there. Oh, he's bumped. Oh, I left it a split second too long. There's one under the back of that. Back of that container. Okay.
Here's an example of one I see just a few meters in front of me.
That's a big one in the foreground there. Way in the foreground. Where's it gone?
With the PARD's minimum mag being 6.5 times, I just missed it right in the foreground here. Stuart spotted another one by the pipe, high and left.
That's V0 on the pipe. 15 meters. Dead. How close is this? No, it's not getting a distance from it, so oh yeah, I got it. Zoom out. Oh, zoom out and
What is used for is the yanks with the pipe.
oh, no. He's dead. Got him. Yes.
I did get this one-eyed rat and 2 or 3 more after it, but I lost a couple of video files that were corrupted when they were downloaded for some reason. Kind of thought I was done for the night, and I stayed on my bucket seat with the rifle with the safety on, uncocked, on the trigger sticks, while Stuart and Robin started collecting rats off to my right. And then a quick scan, and I heard something on my left, back in the trusty pipe. Of course, my rifle was uncocked by now, not for long. So I swiveled round to the right on the bucket seat, rifle uncocked and safety on, and through the thermal, through the Gryphon GH35L, I was treated to the sight of, as you can see, Stuart and Robin gathering the shot rats. One, I think that was the only one I saw finished off that hadn't quite expired. Robin's obviously taking a little bit of a chance clambering up the rubbish tip here, but they just wanted to get a reasonable tally for the night. They're both very well aware of the dangers of Weil's disease or leptospirosis, so they both are wearing gloves, and apart from this one here, they were all picked up by their tails. And Robin did get a scare at one point though, when a piece of furniture he was standing on gave way. So I think that taught him enough's enough for the night. But they got a reasonable tally, as you'll see in a second. It's pretty much now ignoring the distant squeaks of rats all around me in the tip, and then I heard one very close indeed, and be rude not to, you know. This was definitely my last rat for the night, but playing back the footage I thought, did I miss that one? And then I used a trick out of Stuart's playbook. If you watched any of his videos on Vermin Control Scotland, you'll see he loves his slow-mo, particularly in daylight with tracer sort of slugs with neon coloured bases. So I've slowed this one right down, and I did get it after all. Back to the guys doing the collecting, and there were an awful lot of dead rats just lying around, and this doesn't count all the ones that they couldn't reach because they were lost over the back of the tip heap or in amongst the rubbish, or being consumed by their own family. Yeah, a very, very successful night had by all, and thanks once again to Stuart of Vermin Control Scotland, and great to meet you, Robin Foxer. Please go and check out both their channels. Awesome stuff. And here's the one that got away. This was our end of shoot photo at about 1:45 in the morning. Robin and Stuart, between them, I think they gathered about 63 rats, but Stuart reckons between us we must have shot nearer 200 for the night, and I think my tally was about 72 going off my video, so pretty happy with that. So I'm really keen to see Robin's HIKMICRO Alpex A50 footage, because that scope, the daylight, low light and near darkness footage through that scope has to be seen to be believed. It's stunning. Thanks very much for watching, especially those who've stayed right till the end here. Fear not, those who are waiting for mine and Bruce's HIKMICRO Stella SQ50 and Cenepex.S10 video with the comparative field footage. It is coming very soon. I've asked Bruce if he can give me a hand with that by supplying some info for the end of the video where he steps through all the menus. Thanks for watching. See you all soon.